Hey everyone, welcome back for today's video. This is part 1 of building a new town by the name of Mournstell. It's going to have some really cool backstory, some really cool lore, and it's in a really neat location in Elmorin. But without further ado, let's finish up the introductions and get on with the video. So, as I said in the beginning, this will be the first episode in planning and building the new town of Mournstell. This village is going to have some very interesting backstory and will have history stretching back over 500 years, which I think is going to be absolutely epic, and it's going to be pretty cool. So instead of making you wonder, I'll give you a quick little glimpse of the lore so you can kind of begin to understand how this village came to be. So let's begin. Founded in the year 224 of the First Age, Mournstell was initially constructed by a group of farmers and their families who traveled from the southern province of Redoria. This group of people sought not only new lands, but fertile lands free for their wills to be fulfilled and their wealth grown. Upon discovering the lush area and fruitful soil, they quickly made camp and began planning their futures, claiming the land as their own. Shortly afterwards, however, a band of dwarves approached the farmers and asked if the humans would need any assistance. Though apprehensive at first, the farmers made a pact with the dwarves, known as the House of Grodmare, and thus the beginnings of Mournstell are told. So, that's pretty much it. I know it's not much, but it is a little something, and I hope you enjoyed that little snippet, because there's so much more detail and development in the full lore articles that once complete I will be posting online. But the walkthrough is actually pretty long, so I'm going to stop talking now and let you enjoy the rest of the time lapse, and I will meet you again for the first person. Alright, so here we are on the small little fishing piers of Mournstell. Now, this is not a very large fishing beach area because it's not supposed to be. This is definitely supposed to be something where just the very few people who live here can, get their fish, get supplies from the ocean, and spend a day relaxing after they've done their gardening and their chores. And I decided to make this area a little bit more open and accessible. It only has 3 main paths, one to the lighthouse and one to the storehouse and one to the actual dwelling area. So we're just going to go up the path here, and coming up on the left you can see a nice shrine. Now this shrine is dedicated to the gods of this village and soon to be town as we build it along, and I will get more in depth with that as we go along. So that is something that's going to be very, very cool. I typically try to leave religion out, but I think I'm going to add it in with this because it works with the theme, the location, and everything like that. So first off, we have the storeroom. Now I really like the way this came out. I tried to make it extremely busy. One of the comments that I got on my last video was that, people might want to see the interiors a little bit more decorated, a little bit more cluttered, not just oversimplified. So I decided to go with that approach for this build, and I really think it came out very well. You can see here we have tons of, hanging onions, herbs, fish, barrels of wine and mead and things like that. Tons of supplies, all for, I believe about eight or so people living out here, if even that much. I'm still working on the population at this point in time for this area, but you can see here we're growing tobacco. We also have some cabbage for the actual homestead. I think it looks really nice. It's kind of like its own small little area on a little perched hill here, and I just like the way it came out. But going into the home, you can see the dining area, and once again, I tried to make the interior very cluttered, and more filled with the theme and objects and stuff like that. So we have the kitchen. I kind of did a little bit of a different design, like the way that came out, and of course the fireplace, and I think it all came out very well. We have a little chest and a vase up there, and like I said, it just seems to tie together very well, and I like the way that it just kind of fits in this little room here just right. So going up into the second story, we have the actual bedroom. Now it only has one bed, and that's perfectly fine, but you can see here we have the light shining through the window here, and it just looks so good during the day. When the sun hits it just right, that beam shines down right on the side of the bed, and it looks so good. But you can see here we just have some simple dressers, a chest, and a clothing rack, and that's it. I mean, that's the house. Like I said, it was very small, so I just kind of worked with the space I had, but I really like how it came out. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to move over into the lighthouse itself. We'll check out the pond real quick. So yeah, it's just a pond, like nice little freshwater pond. We would collect rainwater and such like that, and they can purify it if need be if they're running low. But here's the lighthouse. We're going to go up the path here, and we're going to go into, now this thing is absolutely massive. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off on the first floor, move to the living quarters, and then work our way up level by level into the lighthouse. So you can see here, I love this view. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it fits so well, and whenever I was building it, I was getting like massive Skyrim vibes when building this, and I just love the way it came out. You can see here we have a lot of storage. We have plates. So the point is, with this small area, there are people who live and in the lighthouse right here, and you can see here this is their living area. So we have a beautiful dining area with nice windows of light coming through and everything like that, and we got some cheese, some jellies, some plates. And if we're going to turn left here, we're going to go into the bedroom area. Now this has 3 beds going into it, and the bedroom is actually going to be, that's the one room I kept extremely simple because I wanted it to be. I wanted the people who live on this small island to be very minimalistic. They don't need a lot. They don't request a lot. The only thing they request most of is supplies, food, water, vegetation, things like that you need to live, not necessarily material belongings, and that will actually go into the religion of this area, and you'll know why later on. So here we have the storeroom as well for the lighthouse itself, or at least one of the actual storerooms for the home. There's going to be plenty of storage space as we progress upwards into the lighthouse. But I just like the way this came out. We have some bags hanging, we have plenty of drinks and food and everything all just kind of tucked away in here. And of course, now that that's done, we're actually going to go up into the lighthouse. So originally I made these stairs out of wood and it didn't really look good. It looked really weird and just awkward. So I decided to do this first level all in stone. So you can see we have a central pillar supporting the whole outline of it. And then we have wooden beams supporting the edges. And I just decided to do those wooden beams as decorative. But I really like how the lights are coming down, like the chains are attached to the wood and the lights hang down to, light up the area. And I didn't want to make it super bright and colorful. It's not meant to be. It's supposed to be very kind of daft and very almost blandish, but not. Now if you remember in the lore, there was the House of Grodmere dwarves who helped build this lighthouse. They are the main reason that this lighthouse even exists. So this is part of their architecture, even though it's more of the simpler side. This is not truly indicative of their skills, but it does show that in a very short amount of time they can get a lot of work done, especially if it's in a basic design or premise. So here is the third story, and you can see we have some more webs. We have this is how you would get out on the little balconies on all three sides. One of the sides is a window, but yeah, this is the small little spot we have here. And once again, have a little chest, have some little belongings, have a table with some food and drink, like just basic stuff. And you can see the little, our village right here, and the living quarters. So I really like this, and this is the third, and then the next part up is actually the true lighthouse part of it. So when you come up here, you can definitely see I wanted to do these iron bars because I wanted it to be closed off and still have the light be able to shine through very easily. You can see here we have the actual bellows, and there's 3 bellows to keep this fire going at all times as much as possible, especially at night. These people would sleep for the majority of the day, get up and do chores and get their vegetables and gardens and everything like that ready, hunt wild game, do whatever they had to do. But they would be up most of the nights making sure that this fire is well lit and that it never goes out. But here we have the outer balcony, and here's a zoom around. So actually, I'll tell you this, I added these, and this is so the heat would disperse out of it. Obviously that's a lot of heat jammed into one area, and heat rises, so I wanted to add that in there, and I think it just looks really, really good. So quick overview, here it is. Simple, basic, but I really like the way that it came out. I really like the way that I changed the interiors and made it all work. So I hope you're enjoying the first episode of Mournstell. There will be more later on, but I'm really feeling this, and I really like this idea and all the lore behind it. So if you like this video, of course it would be awesome if you subscribed, hit the thumbs up, comment below. But for right now, this is the Legendary Porpoise signing off. Hope you have a good day and happy gaming.